freezing, Munich airport is covered in snow, a snowstorm in Munich. Welcome to the latest issue of Top Secret. A terrible snowstorm is turning Germany into a frozen land. Munich airport is submerged in white snow, all flights are paralyzed, and the entire city of Munich braces itself against nature. Thousands are stranded, traffic is chaotic, and the bone-chilling cold shocks the world. Southern Germany is submerged in freezing cold, a fierce snowstorm unexpectedly swept through southern Germany, blanketing Munich airport and causing unprecedented severe disruptions across the region. Not only Germany, but neighboring countries like Austria, Switzerland, and the Czech Republic also suffer heavy consequences from the dense snowfall, rendering road, rail, and air traffic nearly paralyzed. Thousands faced power outages, isolation, and inability to move in the bone-chilling cold. At Munich Airport, Europe's largest aviation hub, all flights were cancelled from Saturday noon until early Sunday morning, leaving thousands of passengers stranded in cold terminals. Roads once bustling with traffic are now blanketed in white snow, with fallen trees and successive accidents adding to the chaos. In the Czech Republic, over 15,000 households lost power, while highways were blocked, pushing people into unprecedented hardship. Munich Airport, a symbol of modernity and bustle, becomes the epicenter of the disaster. Snow up to 50 centimeters thick covers the runways, forcing authorities to halt all flight operations. Passengers at the airport, from holidaying families to hurried business people, find themselves helpless in sub-zero cold. A female passenger shared that she had to sleep on the terminal floor, using luggage as a pillow and a thin coat for warmth, with no idea when the next flight would be. In Austria, the provinces of Tyrol and Vorarlberg raised avalanche warnings to the second highest level after heavy snowfall overnight, increasing collapse risks in mountainous areas. A resident in Tyrol recounted that the sound of heavy snow on the roof kept his family away, fearing an avalanche would bury them all. In the Czech Republic, the D1 highway, a vital artery connecting Prague with Brno, fell into severe congestion after an accident during the snowstorm. A line of trucks stretched over 20 kilometers, with many drivers stuck in their vehicles for hours in sub-zero cold. The truck driver shared that he had to keep the engine running continuously to stay warm, but the fear of running out of fuel kept him from closing his eyes. The scene of stuck vehicles, snow-covered roads, and shivering people in the cold is etched in everyone's minds. As a reminder that nature, though beautiful, can become relentlessly harsh. This snowstorm is not just an abnormal weather phenomenon, but a story of resilience, unity, and profound lessons on how humans face fierce nature. From Munich to Brno, from big cities to small villages, people face unprecedented harsh challenges. A resident in Munich recounted having to sleep on a stranded train overnight, with outside temperatures below freezing, relying only on a thin blanket to fight the cold. In Austria, a family in Vorarlberg shared that they lost power for over 24 hours, forced to burn wood and huddle together for warmth. These stories, though filled with pain, spark a spirit of unity and the will to overcome adversity among the people. They fight not only the cold snow but also fear and uncertainty about an unclear future, yet their solidarity becomes the strength to move forward. The brutal aftermath. A land submersion, the snowstorm left a bleak picture across southern Germany and neighboring regions. In Munich, the international airport, a key European gateway, is completely paralyzed. All flights are cancelled, leaving thousands of passengers stranded in cold terminals. A passenger at Munich airport recounted having to sleep on a waiting bench, using luggage as a pillow and a thin blanket to combat the cold. She said she had never felt so helpless, looking out the window to see everything blanketed in white snow. Authorities initially planned to resume flight operations by Saturday noon, but the heavy snowfall forced them to extend the cancellation order until 6 a.m. Sunday. Road and rail traffic also fell into chaos. Rail routes to and from Munich's central station are completely halted. German National Railway advises passengers to postpone or change their journey, but many are stuck on overnight trains. A passenger in Munich recounted that he and dozens of others had to sleep on a stranded train. With interior temperatures dropping to just a few degrees Celsius, public transport like buses and subways in Munich stopped operating from Saturday afternoon, leaving residents unable to move. A resident in suburban Munich shared that she had to walk over 3 kilometers in the snow to buy food because no transport was working. In the Czech Republic, the vital D1 highway connecting Prague with Brno is severely congested after an accident. A line of trucks stretched over 20 kilometers, leaving many drivers stuck in their vehicles for hours amid a snowstorm. A truck driver on the D1 recounted that he had to keep the engine running continuously to stay warm, but dwindling fuel made him worry about having to sleep in sub-zero cold. In Austria, railway lines were closed due to heavy snowfall. While in Switzerland, Zurich Airport also had to cancel and delay many flights due to severe weather. A Zurich Airport employee shared that he hadn't seen such heavy snowfall in many years. And clearing the runways seemed like an endless battle. The consequences of the snowstorm weren't limited to transportation. In Germany's Bavaria state, thousands of households lost power due to fallen trees damaging power lines. Local utility company A&W reported that repair crews had to work in dangerous conditions to restore electricity, but progress was very slow due to continuing. A family in the Munich suburbs recounted having to use candles and a stove to keep warm, while worrying about food in the refrigerator possibly spoiled. In the Czech Republic, over 15,000 households lost power, leaving many facing severe cold without heating means. A resident in Brno shared that her family had to evacuate to relatives in another area because their home had no electricity or hot water. Life was turned upside down with mounting challenges. The snowstorm completely disrupted the daily lives of people in Munich, Austria, Switzerland, and the Czech Republic. In Munich, public services nearly came to a halt. Buses, subways, and regional trains were cancelled, preventing people from going to work or school. An office worker in Munich said he had to take time off work because there was no way to move around the city. He said walking through knee-deep snow-covered streets was an experience he would never forget. Schools in Munich and surrounding areas closed, forcing parents to find ways to care for children under difficult conditions. Power outages became a serious problem, especially in rural areas. In Bavaria state, many villages were completely isolated due to thick snow and fallen trees blocking roads. A resident in the Munich suburbs shared that her family had to use firewood for heating. But the wood supply quickly ran out, leaving them facing bone-chilling cold. In the Czech Republic, power outages left many families unable to cook or heat, putting them in dire straits. A mother in Prague said she had to pack up belongings to take her young child to a relief center that had generators and food. In Austria, the risk of avalanches increased concerns. Tyrol and Vorarlberg provinces raised avalanche warnings to the second highest level, with snow accumulating up to 50 centimeters in just one night. A resident in Tyrol said his family had to evacuate to a shelter due to fears an avalanche could bury their home. He said the sound of heavy snow on the roof kept the whole family awake with constant fear. In Switzerland, famous ski areas like Zermatt and Davos were also affected, with many tourists stranded due to blocked access roads. Cultural and sports events were also disrupted. In Munich, the football match between Bayern Munich and Union Berlin scheduled for Saturday afternoon was cancelled due to severe weather. A Bayern Munich fan shared that he had been very excited about the match, but when he saw the stadium covered in snow, he understood that no one can fight nature. In the Czech Republic, community events and Christmas markets, which are characteristic cultural features, also had to pause, leaving residents and tourists with regret. The spirit of solidarity light warming flames in the freezing cold. Amid the severe snowstorms sweeping through southern Germany and surrounding areas, people in Munich, Austria, Switzerland, and the Czech Republic showed remarkable solidarity, igniting flames of hope in the bitter cold. In Munich, rescue teams worked tirelessly despite temperatures dropping below freezing and thick snow covering all roads. They used snowmobiles, tankers, and even simple tools like shovels to reach isolated areas where many residents were trapped in the cold. A rescuer in Munich said he had worked over 20 hours straight, wading through knee-deep snow-covered roads to bring people to safety. He shared that every time he saw a family reunited with tearful hugs, he felt all the fatigue and cold melt away, as if he had won a small victory against harsh nature. Volunteers from everywhere quickly joined to help, bringing food, warm blankets, and drinking water to relief centers. In the Czech Republic, relief centers were urgently set up in schools, cultural houses, and even churches, becoming shelters for thousands without power and nowhere to turn. A young volunteer in Prague said she was moved to tears seeing a child's radiant smile upon receiving a cup of hot chocolate, even though the child had just spent a cold night in a makeshift tent. She said that smile was the greatest motivation, hoping her and her teammates forget the cold and continue their work. In Austria, local community organizations braved difficulties, distributing firewood, dried food, and warm clothes to isolated villages. A resident in Tyrol province shared that when receiving a bundle of firewood from a volunteer group, His family felt as if they had gained extra strength to get through the days without electricity. Local authorities in all four countries quickly intervened with decisive measures to respond to the disaster. In Munich, emergency management agencies issued red alerts, urging people to stay home and avoid traveling on slippery and dangerous roads. They established hotlines operating 24 hours daily, allowing residents to report situations and request emergency assistance. A hotline employee in Munich reported that she had received hundreds of calls from stranded people, from families worried about their relatives to drivers stuck on the highway. In the Czech Republic, authorities coordinated military teams to clear snow on the D1 highway, the vital artery connecting Prague. A military officer in Prague shared that he and his comrades had to use shovels and excavators to dig through snow near -10 degrees. But the spirit of unity among everyone, from soldiers to volunteers, helped them overcome seemingly insurmountable difficulties. In Switzerland, rescue teams coordinated with non-governmental organizations to support mountainous areas where the risk of avalanches threatened people's lives. A volunteer in Zurich recounted that he joined a rescue group to deliver food and medicine to an isolated village where snow fell up to 60 centimeters thick. He said that the journey through snow-covered roads was a great challenge, but the gratitude of the people made all his efforts worthwhile. In Austria, professional rescue teams worked with local militia groups to check areas at risk of avalanches, ensuring that all residents were evacuated to safety before disaster struck. On social media, people across the region shared images and videos of the snowstorm, from snow-covered roads in Munich to isolated houses in Vorarlberg. A popular social media post described the scene at Munich airport, where planes were frozen on the runway, with snow up to 44 centimeters thick, marking one of the largest snowstorms in December in the region. But interspersed among the harsh images were heartwarming moments that moved millions of people. A video in Munich showed a group of young people clearing snow together to make way for rescue vehicles, despite the bone-chilling cold. Another story in the Czech Republic told of an elderly man in Brno who, despite losing power at home, brought out his wood-burning stove to warm his neighbors. A social media post in Austria wrote that snow may cover all roads, but human kindness will always warm our hearts. These words of encouragement quickly spread, becoming a source of inspiration for millions facing the cold. Nature awakens a harsh lesson. The fierce snowstorm sweeping through Munich, Austria, Switzerland, and the Czech Republic is not just an unusual weather phenomenon but also a profound warning about the fragile relationship between humans and nature. Climate scientists state that climate change, with rising global temperatures and abnormal shifts in weather patterns, has made extreme events like snowstorms, floods, and droughts increasingly common. In Central Europe, where winters are usually mild with gentle snowfall, up to 50 centimeters of snow in a single day is rare, almost unprecedented in modern history. These numbers are not just dry statistics, they're clear evidence of nature's destructive power when pushed to its limits. The biting cold winds, combined with heavy snowfall, turn the bustling streets of Munich into icy stretches, submerging rural areas in Austria and the Czech Republic in freezing cold and paralyzing even mountain towns in Switzerland. Residents in Munich and surrounding areas learned a costly lesson that thorough preparation is crucial for coping with unexpected natural disasters. Transportation systems and infrastructure not designed to withstand such heavy snow contributed to worsening the damage. In Munich, highways and railways were blocked while frozen drainage systems caused many problems for rescue operations. An environmental expert in Munich emphasized that modern cities need to invest heavily in advanced snow-clearing systems, such as high-capacity snowplows and more accurate weather forecasting technologies. These solutions not only help minimize damage but also ensure people's safety during harsher winters in the future. In Austria, scientists called for building avalanche prevention measures, such as sturdy barriers and automated monitoring systems in mountainous regions like Tyrol and Vorarlberg. A researcher in Vienna shared that using sensor technology to detect avalanche risks can save hundreds of lives, especially in areas with treacherous terrain. Despite facing losses and sorrow, people in Munich, Austria, Switzerland, and the Czech Republic maintained faith in a better future. In Munich, charities worked tirelessly, donating warm blankets, food, and clothing to support those isolated. A non-governmental organization in Munich distributed thousands of hot meals to families without power who couldn't cook. A young volunteer shared that she was moved to see an elderly woman thank her with tearful eyes just for receiving an old blanket. In the Czech Republic, non-governmental organizations coordinated with authorities to provide generators and heating equipment, helping people endure freezing days without a lamp. A small shop owner in Munich recounted that he opened his store to offer free hot coffee and bread to rescue teams as a way to contribute to the community's collective effort. These actions, though small compared to the scale of the disaster, ignited a flame of hope, proving that humans can overcome any adversity together with compassion and unity. The journey through the storm, a brighter future ahead. The recovery journey after the snowstorm in Munich, Austria, Switzerland, and the Czech Republic is a long and challenging path, requiring patience, determination, and close coordination between authorities, citizens, and the international community. Weather forecasts indicate that snow may continue to fall in the coming days, making cleanup and transportation restoration even more difficult. In Munich, local authorities advised residents to closely monitor the weather situation because new snowfalls are melting ice that cause unforeseen dangers. A resident in Austria's Tyrol province said he had learned to check the weather forecast every morning because any sign of heavy snowfall or strong winds could signal a new threat. In the Czech Republic, rural areas remain isolated with many small roads blocked by snow, pushing rescue teams to work in harsh conditions. Experts began assessing the total damage from infrastructure and transportation to the economy and people's livelihoods. In Munich, small businesses suffered heavy losses from having to close for many days, especially during the year-end shopping season, the most crucial time for revenue. A shop owner in central Munich shared that he lost all weekend revenue, pushing his family into financial hardship. He said that his store, which was the family's livelihood, now faces the risk of bankruptcy if the situation persists. In the Czech Republic, farmers are concerned about crops being destroyed due to prolonged orders and frozen land. A farmer in Brno shared that he lost his entire winter crop, the main source of income for his family, and now has to find ways to raise capital to start over. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for the secret channel Beyond the Veil 0707. Thank you for watching the video and see you next time.